Lou, a couple of weeks ago, I was at your house. After a date, we had just gone axe throwing and bow and arrow shooting, and I wanted to wash my hands. And so I went into your bathroom, and I just washed my hands. The thing with your bathroom, there's only one switch, and it turns on the light and the fan, right?
Yes. Very loud fan, too.
Yeah. So I didn't turn on the light, and I was just washing my hands. And all of a sudden, you and your husband just started laughing at me.
Okay, well, I was in the other room, and I all of a sudden hear Zach yell from the other side, Abby, why are you washing your hands with the lights off? And I look over from around the corner, and I'm just like, you know, it's okay to use the electricity.
I know, but, like, it's not... I remember, like, as a kid, just being, like... I don't know. It's just one more thing to turn on and off the light switch. So, and you don't need it. Unless there's something on your hands, you don't need to see yourself washing your hands, right?
I guess. Well, yeah. Well, it was just funny because I was washing my hands at the same time because I was in the kitchen washing my hands. Those axes were filthy.
Yeah.
Filthy.
It was a fun date, though.
Very, very fun. I had a great time. But though it was very filthy, as you know, you would imagine you're hucking axes at wood. So we were washing our hands, and that's when he yelled over, and I'm just kind of laughing. I'm like, "That's my friend Abby."
Welcome to This Could Have Been a Text podcast with Abby and Lou.
I was driving here because I live quite a bit away from you.
You could move.
If I had the money, that would be great. But
Subscribe to our channel.
yes, please. But yeah, I was driving here and I saw a biker, and he had like, oh my gosh, your dog.
She's very excited. I don't know if those of you on YouTube, she's on Abby's lap, and she is very much an attention whore. So she basically, if you're sitting down next to her, she'll nuzzle her head under your hand until you start petting her.
Yeah.
And I've taught her when I do a heart with my hands, she should theoretically. Oh my gosh, come here, lady. Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay. She should theoretically. Come here. Go through
Aww.
it. She went through it. Through the little heart. Yeah, like that, like that, like that.
But yeah, so I saw this bicyclist. Is that how you say it? Bicyclist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bicycler.
Yeah. Saw this person, and they had like, you know how like stereotypical Russians, they have like the things that they put their hands in?
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
hand warmer things.
Yeah. It was like that, but for a bike. So he could bike while his hands were covered.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually really smart. Actually, it doesn't sound very smart.
Well,
Because what if you need to, like, if you're crashing, you need to put your arms out and you're just stuck.
actually, I wouldn't put your arms out while you're falling because then you could break an arm.
Okay, clearly I don't have good sense when it comes to falling. But
I feel like that would kind of be known because you're known as Crash Queller in your family.
I am, in fact, very clumsy.
Except you're not Queller anymore.
Nope. Well, I still haven't changed my name. But it's been really busy.
Yeah, and it's hard.
Oh my gosh, I don't want it. I don't want to do it. Because I have to change my business licenses, my certifications, everything. It's going to be a mess. It's gonna be
for our podcast, the copyright is registered to Laurel Scougard, so you're changed there. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting and actually like really smart that they came up with that because like the wind is blowing on you even faster when you're riding a bike.
Oh, I remember riding my bike and my hands just...
Yeah. And like it wasn't really cold outside today.
I wish it was. I love the cold.
But it's still really smart.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Did you have anything fun happen this past week?
My sister-in-law gave birth
Oh yeah.
yesterday.
It's exciting.
She has a little baby boy, and we got to go see him, and he was the cutest little baby, and he hasn't been a crier. His first day of life hasn't been a crier, so keep it up. And Aunt Laura will come babysit you all the time.
Yeah.
He was so...
You don't want a crying nephew?
Well, I just hear stories about how I was as a kid, and I don't wish that on my sister-in-law. Oh, but no, I've never held a baby under 24 hours old. And he was just so small and so perfect. And you know when babies come out, their head's a little cone-shaped?
Yeah.
So he looked a little alien. But they showed me a picture of when he was like newborn, even though he still is. But like hours old, and it was definitely more cone-shaped, so it was already moving kind of back. Mm. Oh my gosh, he was so precious. When he would fuss, you just like circle your finger on his chest, and he goes,
Aww.
And you're just like, ah!
That's so cute. Yeah, I remember hearing stories, oh my gosh, of me as a baby. I didn't cry very much, and then, like, my sister and I were only, like, 17 months apart, and it was, like, I've heard night and day. So, you weren't very quiet as a baby?
Nope. How my mom put it is I cried for the first 2 years of my life. I went pretty dry for the next 18, though. Well, 17. Then I met my husband, and all of a sudden, emotions were a thing again. It was like, wow.
Well, and you were trying to heal from trauma, so.
Yeah. But, no, I was telling my sister-in-law, I'm like, I truly hope that this baby is a quiet and easy baby for you, because I just looked at her and I was like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you? Oh, my gosh. So the nurse came in. Sorry, this is a little side tangent, sort of.
You're fine.
But the nurse came in and was just checking on her. When was the last time the baby peed and pooed? When was the last time he was fed? And, you know, she was all up to snuff and everything. So she was going to head out, but I wanted to ask her a question for me, because I want kids. I would like a big family. I'm scared to say that because my mother keeps telling me, no, you don't. And I'm like, Mother, talking to your daughter here. I love you, Mom. You're weird. But I want at least like 3 kids. I hope to have at least 3 kids. But I'm terrified. I'm absolutely mortified. I have a lot of physical issues where if I'm pregnant, there's a good chance that I will be basically bedbound the entire time, which is really bad for me and the baby.
Yeah.
So I asked the nurse, and I was like, oh, I actually have a question for you. So I was trying to kind of lead her to the little portion of the door that's covered by a curtain, so it wouldn't be like, my sister-in-law just gave birth, but let's make it about me. So I was trying to get her away so I could just ask her a personal question, and she wouldn't. So I go over to the door, and I'm just like kind of ask like, hey, I'm sure you get a lot of moms with anxiety, but do you guys have like protocols with that? I'm sure you do, but I want to have kids, and it's on my mind, you know. And she's like, are you pregnant right now? I'm like, no, I'm not. It's on my mind, and I'm just really nervous about it. And so she just starts yapping real loud about how, and like involving my sister-in-law, and I'm like, no. Like, she just like gave birth like 12 hours ago. Maybe let her like rest and not think about my issues. But I felt so bad because like I was just asking, you know, and she's like, yeah, we actually, if you mark down that you have anxiety, we watch you before you even hit second trimester.
Okay, that's good.
So it's like they'll be watching you because your stress affects the baby directly. Mm-hmm. And so it made me feel a lot better, but I just felt so bad because I was just like, I just wanted to ask a question, but I was actively trying to like make it a separate conversation because there she is on the bed holding her newborn and exhausted and in pain, and I'm just like, what about when I give birth? Oh my gosh.
That reminds me of the Parks and Rec episode with Andy Samberg, where he comes in and he's like, hi, Leslie! And he's like yelling.
Oh my gosh. That character made me mad.
Really?
It made me physically angry. Like, I just looked at him and I'm like, you seem like the type of person that would be in my like junior high that was trying to be the class clown but couldn't be, and I really hated you. That's the vibe you give off. And it stressed me.
I love Andy Samberg, and knowing Andy Samberg before I saw the episode, I didn't have the same reaction.
Well, now I'm trying to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and stuff and not be like, you play some annoying characters, man. You play some annoying characters, man.
Yeah. He's funny, though. If I've watched a lot of interviews of him, because he's my favorite actor. I'm not meaning to, like, be creepy or anything.
What's his favorite cake? Do you know how many pets he has? Is he married?
He is married.
Okay, so he knows you're married. She knows you're married. Don't need to worry too much about that, okay?
But yeah, he like has a like band almost. It's like a group. It's called The Lonely Island, and it's with two other guys that he met in junior high, and they got onto SNL together, and so they've been like doing stuff for a while, and they have a podcast right now called The Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast. It's really funny, but it's explicit, so don't listen to it around kids or if you're not comfortable with that. But yeah, they're really funny. And turns out, you know the Everything is Awesome song from the Lego movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sing the rapping part.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bop, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, they've done, I mean, if their podcast is explicit, a lot of the content that they do is explicit as well. So, not for all audiences, but if you get to listen to it, it's pretty funny. Yeah. Do you have a favorite? I mean, you have a favorite actor, right? Ryan Reynolds?
I love Ryan Reynolds. And I think a lot of that is because truly, I wish I had the confidence to have such blunt humor, because I don't. I you know, you have to be selective with what type of humor you are with what type of people.
Yeah.
I like dry humor, and I like dark humor, and I like puns. But I don't know, just to be able to carry yourself that way, I look up to it. I look up to it. What's going on right now with him and his wife and the other actor kind of puts a little taint on that. But
well, did you hear, like, before him and his wife got married, he was married to Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. And then they divorced, and like less than a year later, he got married.
Oh, I'm sorry. That might have just ruined Ryan Reynolds for me.
Yeah.
He was married to Black Widow.
Yeah. But now
You don't mess
she's
up.
happily married to Colin Jost, and they make a really cute couple.
Who's that?
He's a writer on SNL.
Oh.
That's how they met, because she came on SNL like 3 times.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. I mean, she's been on SNL multiple times.
Scarlett, you're too good for him.
Too good for Ryan, or too good?
Ryan.
Okay. Yeah.
I do love his humor, but I just, when actors and actresses can't keep it in their pants, it drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
just got this like hair that's like sticking out. It's bothering me.
And it's kind of similar. I remember we were talking about Wicked, and
Yeah.
you have problems with Ariana Grande now.
Yeah, I actually ended up watching it, and it was really good. They
It's really
casted
good.
it really well.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know, just knowing the fact that people can just so easily be like, oh, my wife just had a baby, but Ariana Grande is here.
Yeah.
Drives me, what?
It scares me, honestly.
Yeah, like, I just don't understand even thought, you know how people like will have those lists, and they're usually like a joke list of like celebrities you could sleep with when you're married.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't think, like, even if I like had a list and it was a joke, I don't think I could ever even consider having that be a reality.
Yeah, it's weird.
I have no interest in ruining my marriage or in looking at anyone else.
Yeah. And just to be clear,
Unless it's a cartoon version of Hiccup when he's older. That's different. Okay.
we are part of a culture where you wait until marriage, so that also affects a lot of our views on this.
Yeah, and I think even if you didn't have that culture of, you know, waiting for marriage just because of religion or family pressures or whatnot, I still think it's very important to, for me, a marriage is very, very wonderful. And I think everyone should be able to get married, no matter who you are. But I feel sometimes marriage isn't seen as wonderful as it really is. You know, it's just seen as a piece of paper you get. But really, it's this commitment of saying, okay, we're in this. And if I'm sick of you, you're going to go to sleep and I'm going to go to sleep. And then we're going to wake up and we're going to eat cookies in the morning and talk about it.
Yeah. And
Don't eat cookies for breakfast.
Oh, well, I had cookies for breakfast this morning.
I almost did. I'm not going to. I'm not even kidding. I have one cookie left from this batch I made a couple days ago. I've been staring at it. It'll happen. Anyway.
But yeah, I was thinking of, because people took the same psychology class in high school, and it was kind of talked about how if you like live with your partner before getting married, you're actually more likely to break up.
And I think marriage is also seen as, once you're married, it's like this option to get divorced if just something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I am not saying, let me preface this because there's a lot politically going on about that. I'm not saying divorce is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying...
And it's the right thing if abuse is involved.
Yes. I'm just saying sometimes I think people see marriage as dating, where it's easy just to say, okay, you know what, this is just too much, and walk away. When you have a miscommunication. Like I've been married for only 6 months, very, very new. And there's been many things that we have needed to talk about, or just even phrases that we have noticed, like, okay, when you say this way, it comes across to me this way. And like the other person feels like crap because they're like, oh my gosh, like I did not mean for that to happen. So if it was like dating and we were just like, oh, figuring this out was too hard and we just divorced, it's just like, it kind of takes away this power of marriage. And I really think it does have a power.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's something you can just throw away.
No. And it's also, you know, if you're going to get divorced, it's also, you know, when you're dating someone new, you're like, I am divorced, and it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm prefacing. I'm just saying sometimes it makes it a little more difficult because then they worry, you know, what happened there? Even if, you know, it completely wasn't your fault and there was abuse or there was something, you know, but.
And it costs a lot of money to get divorced.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know, to be honest. I just know it's a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it if you haven't.
That's good. We're both in school right now. Mm-hmm. How are you liking your classes?
I'm actually liking them fine. I'm a little overwhelmed.
You're trying accounting, right?
Yes, I am looking into being an accountant. And that is because largely it is a career I can have while being a mom and earning good money. Mm-hmm. Like,
so you can have your mansion.
I'm going to have a mansion one day. Subscribe!
Yeah, it reminds me, my youngest sister, ever since she was little, she had a mansion fund. She was like,
aww.
And when she would want to buy something, she's like, well, it's this, or I put it towards my mansion.
Aww, yeah. That's cute!
Yeah, I don't know that she still has it, but
that's funny. Adorable. Yeah. No, I would love to be a content creator full time. I really, really would. But, you know, you never know. That industry is always changing. So, and math has always been something that's been more easy for me. This accounting class has kind of shown me that it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I had my first exam this week and I'm a little nervous. But I've been taking very detailed notes. My actually book is just right over here to my right. And I'm probably like, I have a lot of notes for just the first little bit, but I'm really happy about that. But the hard thing is I've been so focused on that in my stats class. It's like the behavioral statistics and psychology, and that's 4 credit, that I've kind of been slacking on my other classes. And I'm a little nervous because, you know, midterms are going to start coming up soon. Yeah. Which is weird. It feels like that's weird. It's already coming up soon. But, I don't know, a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and the hard part about being a content creator, you've expressed that you want to be a mom, and it's hard when you want to have kids, but you also want to be a content creator, and deciding if you're going to show your kids, because that is a very
I already
hot
know
topic.
I won't be showing my kids.
Yeah.
I will have a personal Instagram to post my little chillins on, where I can choose who sees it,
Yeah.
you know. But they will strictly not be allowed to show their face. And if we show a little kid reaction, if we have a cute little video of like, we had a Easter morning, we're blurring out their faces.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's nice is your husband is really into video stuff, so he can do that.
Yeah. My husband, he's very, very talented with video editing and all that stuff. He'll sometimes edit some of my videos when I'm like, I can't stress here. He saves me sometimes. Because I do not like video editing. I do not like it at all.
And it's funny because I'm the one who originally taught you how to video edit, right? For our YouTube channel?
And just like, I learned from you, and then like, you know, when you go to classes and they would teach you basics of editing, basically that.
Yeah,
so
because we would like take turns coming up with video ideas for our YouTube, and it's like, if it's your idea, you want to be editing, because I've heard this many times now, a story comes through 3 times. Once in the writing, once in the performing, and once in the editing room.
Oh, I haven't heard that before. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. And so if it's your story, you want to be able to edit it. And so that's why we taught you to edit.
Across the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Because sometimes when I have Zach edit my videos, he'll take out something I wanted in there. But then again, I tend to ramble a lot.
That's why we have a podcast now.
Yep, thanks for listening to my rambles. But, yeah, no.
But yeah, it's clearly I have been really into film lately. And I recently got into Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I love Parks and Rec. I've been trying to get her into Parks and Rec since high school.
I didn't have anything to watch Parks and Rec on, so I just didn't watch it. But then I watched it recently, and I'm also really into podcasts, so I found a couple podcasts that go over it, and they talk a lot about film, and it's really interesting to me because it's something that I was going to go into that for my major, but it's something that requires a lot more networking, and that's not something I want to spend my time doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
that's fair.
Hopefully by doing this, I mean, I'm editing our videos and I love it.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's nice for me. Seriously, like when I get stressed, I get stressed.
Yeah. And it's going to help me get used to listening to my voice.
That's one thing that has definitely been hard as I've made my own YouTube channel and, you know, little TikToks and all this stuff is I have to get used to how I sound. And so much growing up, I've been told, you sound like a man. And that has mainly been from my mom. Mom, I love you. I don't sound like a man, and I'm not going to talk higher. I love you. But I'm sure she was joking. Yeah, and if you listen to our earlier episode where we talked a little bit about theater in high school that we did, you would have heard the story where the teachers told me that I have nothing basically to bring to the table except for my speaking voice. And so I write a lot of poetry. And I actually got one published in a book.
Her poetry is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I got one published and I was really proud of it. And it was kind of my way of saying, okay, if you liked my speaking voice so much, it's too bad that you lost it, basically. You know? And I want to be able to use it more, but I'm still getting comfortable saying what I think. Yeah. Because, you know, we brought up how much I care about marriage and family and that stuff. And I know there's plenty of people who it's just not right for them. It's just not, you know. And I don't judge anyone for that, but I know that it can come across that way. So I get scared to say that thing. But it's just something that I really believe in. You know, maybe I'll end up with just one kid, or maybe I won't end up with any kids because something happens. But I still think it's so important. And all of these things that I try to use my voice for, I want to be better at using it how I want to use it. And that's one of the reasons I started a YouTube channel and I wanted to do this podcast with you, is because I never really got that opportunity in high school. Yeah.
And it, like, that story kind of shows our dichotomy, I guess, because you've always been praised for your voice. Like, it's great. It's loud. My first time performing, like a monologue or anything, the director said, okay, that was great, yeah, but I was the only one that could hear you. So, and I've always been told, like, I'm quiet, and I am. And so it's something that I've had to learn. And I have a higher voice.
Well, you have a very feminine voice, and it's beautiful. That has been something that's been really fun to watch, is seeing very, very shy, very timid high school Abby kind of turn into this woman who's like, I'm going to go back to that high school and say some words to people.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember in like third grade, we had like a parent-teacher conference. And in third grade, I had people who were like my best friend at the time. She wasn't in the class, but I was friends with people in that class that I felt like I could be myself around. Mm-hmm. And that class was very unruly. I kind of feel bad for the teacher looking back. But so I was one who, like, I would just talk during classes, and that wasn't something that I would normally do. And so when my teacher was like, yeah, she's, like, disrupting class by continuing these conversations, my parents were like, what? She doesn't do that.
Pourquoi? Pourquoi?
Yeah.
What?
And so it's something that I've had to learn recently because, like, it's frustrating not feeling like you're being heard, feeling like you're not being heard.
Yeah.
And so not only have I learned how to get louder, I've learned how to talk better because I have to make it sound important, kind of.
I'm still learning that. My mom has told me over this weekend, actually multiple times, that I am a bad communicator. And I don't get my point across. Or what she phrased it as is she thinks that I don't understand things as fast as normal people. And it was frustrating for me to hear because I so badly, growing up especially, wanted to prove that I was smart because I went to a charter school and that was what was valued, is smarts.
Yeah.
It's like sports didn't matter, nothing mattered, theater, dance, whatever, do whatever you want. But if you're smart, you have value. And so to kind of hear that kind of opened up a wormhole for me of something that I'm going to be working on because I want to be able to get my point across gracefully. Mm-hmm. And I care deeply about that, especially, again, as someone who writes poetry. Maybe that's why I like it so much is it's supposed to be deep and you have to think about it for it to fully make sense.
Yeah, but in the world that we live in, people don't expect you to think before you talk.
No.
And it's something that I've had to work through in therapy because a lot of times when I'm angry, I don't think about what I'm saying, and that's normal.
Yeah.
But it's something that can surprise people and catch people off guard, especially as me, someone who's quiet and usually reserved, or has been in the past and wants to change that. And so I've had to learn to kind of slow down conversations and, yeah, kind of like keep the same tone. Because, like we said, we're referring to other episodes, but I'm a big crier. So if I get angry or frustrated, I tend to cry. And that doesn't usually come off as someone who's strong and is in control of a situation. So it's another thing I've been working on because I'm tired of being not heard and not understood and taken for being emotional. Yeah,
and I feel that can translate to everything. You know, it's not just someone you're talking to, a sibling. It translates to family and the world around you. But to be able to have that self-awareness and be like, okay, Abby, I gotta take a step back. It's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool to watch it.
And, you know, as I've been practicing this, I've gotten really good at apologizing because I'll say something and then afterward I'll be like, well, my tone was a little bit weird on that one, so I'll just go and say sorry.
Oh, it's my tone too. I'm a very blunt person, and I've been told that my tone comes across sometimes condescending, and that killed me, like, to think that I came across that way. And I hope I don't. Sorry if I do. I'm not meaning it. But it seriously, like, there are some people in high school that I knew exactly how I was talking to them, and I just didn't care.
Yeah.
But, you know, I genuinely want to come across as this kind person. I do. I truly do. And having a deep voice and it's sometimes monotone is going to come across, like I don't care what I'm talking about or something like that. But that's been something I've been also working on, especially if I get in an argument like with Zach or something. I try really hard I almost like, that's when I talk higher. It's because I want him to know that I'm consciously trying to think of that and work on that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a really good thing that you're working on yourself. Oh my gosh, her eyes are so big.
Hi, baby. For those of you who can't see, she's sitting up like a teddy bear on my tummy.
It's like she has white glowing eyes.
I know. Oh, yours is so cute, baby. Okay, you can keep this.
We're kind of matching today.
Cute.
Unplanned, but and look, we even have like they're not matching cross necklaces, but they're both crosses.
Oh, I got this one for Christmas for my mom, and I love it.
I got this one from you.
I know. I was very excited when I found that.
I kind of want to. So I was editing our last episode, and I showed the video on there. If you watched it on YouTube, of my phone going crazy, and in the background, you made a comment like.
What
I
did
could
I
just
say?
hear in the audio. It was like, "Oh my, cheese and crackers."
Oh, how cringy was I? Oh,
It was so funny. I just started laughing.
Cheese and crackers. Oh my gosh, that sounds like something I would do, to be honest.
Yeah. And it also reminded me, like, I'm a big voices person, and I remember in high school we were driving somewhere. Maybe it was back from like the gas station or something.
Oh, there's a gas station right next to our school, and we would go get treats. It was the best.
And then a car went through it.
Yeah,
Recently,
that happened like a month ago. It was really weird. Anyway, continue.
I grew up listening to Disney music, and we were playing Disney in the car.
I remember this.
Yeah, and the Trolls song came on. What is it called?
I have no idea.
I always forget. I do voices when I sing.
She does the character voices.
Yeah, so it's not just like me trying to sound pretty. It's me doing the voices. And so I started doing this, and you burst out laughing.
Well, I wasn't ready for it. It's just like all of a sudden it's like a song, and then all of a sudden it's just like
Fixer Upper, that's what it's called.
And I was just not ready, and it was awesome. And I was like, this is so fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe you'll get to hear a little bit of that on here as I quote things.
Sorry.
You good?
I don't know what she's doing. She won't just sit. Can you just chill? Okay.
Just as kind of a preview for next episode, my dog is going to be here.
Yeah, Arlo!
And so will my sister. We're going to have a little bit of a guest for you guys. Excited.
Do we know the topic?
I have a game for us to play.
Ooh.
I have actually 2 games. One of them actually, I don't want to give them away. Because, yeah, I don't want to give them away.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later off the podcast.
Secrets.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I wanted to talk about dates that we've gone on. Because when we were in high school, we're going back a lot to high school. We're not very old. We just got out of high school.
High school was like 2 years ago.
And
not even.
that is where we met. So we have a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
So it's not, I promise we're not stuck in high school. We have a full life right now. It's just college is kind of boring.
It's stressful and I don't want to think about it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. So my junior year, your sophomore year, we did a lot of dates together, like double dates.
Oh, yeah. That was a party.
Yeah. And the first one we went on, you went with your best friend.
Mm-hmm. He's on his mission now.
Yeah.
He's never going to watch this, but hi!
And I went with just someone in our, high school, I guess. We went to a dinosaur museum. It was pretty fun. I think it was pretty fun. Do you remember anything from this date?
I remember we were driving to the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this was right after I had turned 16.
Yeah, so I was the one driving because in our state you have to wait 6 months before you can drive other people
And she's
around.
pretty much exactly 6 months older than me. You know?
But you didn't really listen to that rule.
No.
But I'm very much rule follower.
The only one I would break that rule with was my cousin Ella.
No, you broke it with me.
That sounds right, too. That sounds right, too.
Anyway, we were on the way to the dinosaur museum, and it was me and my date in the front, and then you and your date, friend, whatever, in the back.
Yeah.
And there was a squirrel that came into the road, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
screamed, my date screamed, and you couldn't even see it from the back, but your date started screaming because we were
I
screaming.
was just sitting there, and I remember just kind of thinking, going to the dinosaur museum, blah, blah, blah.
Music was playing.
Yeah, and like her and her date, so her date was one of the people that were in the theater company, whatever.
Yeah.
So very much sings songs in cars, right?
Yeah.
They were just partying. I can't remember if I was even talking to my friend at that point. I was just kind of sitting there being like, do. I don't know the way, so I'm just going to watch the cars outside,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there was also this dip. Do you remember the
yeah,
dip?
yeah.
Was that before or after?
I think it was before.
It was right before. So
Yeah.
there was this dip that all of a sudden you hear a, whoa! And that was Abby, who was just like, oh, it's fine. I got
then
it.
we go, ah!
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, she starts screaming, he starts screaming, and then my friend starts screaming, and I'm just looking like, why are we screaming?
And then we get past it, and you ask, why are we screaming? And I was like, there was a squirrel. And I go, Will, why were you screaming? And he's like, everybody else was screaming.
I remember looking at him like, you would be great in an emergency. Oh, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then after the museum, we went to In-N-Out.
Oh, In-N-Out. If In-N-Out sponsored people, I think they should sponsor me because I've spent my life savings at In-N-Out.
But yeah, like the main reason why we went is because that was the main place where you could eat.
Yeah.
And we went in for some reason, but then carried our food out. I don't know why
I
we
think it was
didn't
because
eat
the
there.
drive-thru was super long,
Okay.
and we wanted to go back, and I don't remember why. Did we watch a movie that night?
No, we might have played
I
games.
think we played games. We played games. I remember
Okay.
we were on the little checker table,
Oh, yeah.
and we played games. Oh, I love In-N-Out.
So that was the first date that we went on together. And before that, my first date ever, I went on with your ex.
Wait, what?
You don't remember that? So
Oh, wait.
someone from our ward, we'll bleep that out. She had just broken up with.
That was an interesting time.
Yeah. And her friend was coming from California and she wanted to go on a date with him. But you were busy or something. I think you had a choir performance or something.
Sounds about right.
And she wanted to go on a double date and I was like, yeah, I'll do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only had 2 guys ever ask me on a date.
I have had 0.
Even your husband, you were the first one to ask.
He's so cute and shy.
Yeah.
I love him.
But yeah, so most of my dates, it's been me asking, got pretty comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
She's lifting up her leg because I'm scratching.
Oh.
But yeah, so I asked your date because I was like, this is just a chill thing.
Yeah,
we were friends at the time.
Yeah.
And I think you guys had just said like you're not dating or something like that. So you were like, it's fine.
No, I think this was a little later because it
was a year later.
Yeah, because I had
Yeah.
told him right before COVID hit, like, back off, stop touching my leg, back off.
Yeah.
But nicely, like, we're friends and we can date when we're 16 because this is too much for me and I'm freaking out and I'm losing friends because, like, bro, chill.
Yeah. Anyway, went on a date with him. We went to a pizza place, and it was a place where I was working at the time. And
I remember that. That was fun.
yeah, but here's the thing. When you work in fast food, your break is only like 15 minutes, right?
Lame.
And so for my break, I would get a calzone. Like, figure out how to hold this. It's like that big.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, but I would eat it in 15 minutes because I was hungry.
Oh, that would hurt your tummy, dude.
No. I'm a pretty fast eater.
You should see me eat In-N-Out. I inhale that. I told Zach that I could probably eat an entire burger in 3 bites if I wanted to.
Side note, I remember us walking around high school at one point, and you were like, my mom was worried for me to get a date because of how messy I am eating. Do you remember that?
It's true. It's true. My mom said I'm never allowed to eat ribs in front of a guy. And I told her, now that will be the first thing I eat in front of every male I ever come across. Only once has my husband been embarrassed about how I ate. And that was because this once he was having a really hard time. And so I was at his house and helping him clean up because he just needed a reset and he needed some help. So I was there helping him, and then we were starving. So we go and get some In-N-Out, right? And we're sitting there inside. We ate inside, and it was just smothered all over my face because I hadn't eaten all day. And I have POTS, so I get exhausted very easy. And so I was just all in my face, and he was just kind of like, we're in public. And I'm just like, so?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, but I'm now still messy, but appropriately messy.
So yeah, that was a side tangent. But I could eat that whole calzone in like 15 minutes. And I'm on a date. I don't want to do that in 15 minutes. And
I would.
And it's not like I liked the guy. He was just a friend.
I mean, if you did, you would need to tell me because that is juicy.
No, I did not.
Save yourself some pain there. Not from me. Preface.
But yeah, so I only ate like half of it. And then, because here's the thing. The person who, like, I planned this with, I mean, we love her. We hung out with her a little bit. But she was kind of more feminine than us, more dainty.
She had very different goals in life than us. Like, she's told us that her goal in life was to be a trophy wife. And that's very much not what we want to be.
Yeah.
So it's just, we had different goals.
Yeah, and so she, like, got 3 little cheese rolls and had that for dinner. And I'm, like, scarfing down this calzone.
It's not like your date was any better.
And, yeah, and it's not like he paid for it either. I paid for it because I asked him on the date.
Yeah, he paid for, like, very little of our dates when we were together, so.
Yeah. And I have 3 younger sisters, and the date was at my house. So what's funny is my family, we had planned for them to leave. Like, they went somewhere so we could play games before dinner. And then when they came back, we were at the restaurant, and then we came back and we were like, well, there's still time, we can hang out a little bit. We hung out in my garage. It was January. We put a heater in there and we're just chatting.
Very trophy wife of you, Abby.
Yeah, so that happened. And then after the date, I remember going to my mom and being like, I'm so hungry. I'm going to eat the rest of this calzone. I didn't want to scarf it all down in front of this other couple.
Abby, that's where you and me are different. It's just like, when it comes to food, no, I don't care.
Yeah, and the date that we were talking about, that we went to the dinosaur museum, I'm pretty sure I don't like a lot of condiments. I only like ketchup. Mm-hmm. And at In-N-Out, they have a sauce that they put on everything. You have to specifically ask not to get it.
Oh my gosh, I would marry that sauce. Oh, it's so good.
I don't like it. And so they put it on my hamburger, and I just couldn't eat it. So I barely had anything to eat that night either.
Oh, I don't remember that. I feel bad. It's sad.
No, it was fine. But it was just interesting. And then I don't remember them in order. But at one point, you went on a date with a guy you liked. You were like, Abby, I want to do a date with this person. Can you find a date so that we could do a double date?
Oh, was this that one actor guy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was so nervous to ask this guy out, and he acted like it was just like the no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and I was sitting there just like, stress, die.
Like, I'm dying.
Yeah, and he's just like,
yeah, that sounds fun. Let's go.
It's not just that. We watched a movie that day.
Yeah, so we had them choose between the Goofy movie and Princess and the Frog.
Mm-hmm. We watched a Goofy movie, right?
No, I'm pretty sure we watched Princess and the Frog because they were like, this is the best movie ever, which it is. It's pretty good. It has really good music. And the Goofy movie, it's not bad either.
It's
it is
wonderful.
Also a great movie. But yeah, so we watched that, and we had pizza. We ordered like a cheese pizza or something
think
from
so.
Little Caesars,
Yeah.
and then you made one of your gluten-free ones.
Oh, I'm having that for dinner tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
And we watched the movie, and then afterwards, they hung out more with each other, our dates did, than with us.
Well, after the movie, it was still pretty early, and we're like, do you guys want to watch another movie? Go play games. And my date, I remember him specifically saying, oh my gosh, don't make us watch another movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like, looked at him like, and they're gone. All feelings gone.
Yeah.
Just like that. You're done. And so I was like, okay, let's go on. So my parents have,
You're good.
my parents have foosball and
Shuffleboard and...
a little chess table
Yeah.
in their basement. And we were playing shuffleboard, and
It wasn't like me and my date against you and your date. It was boys against girls.
mm-hmm. And then we also did. I can't remember if it was just me and my date when we went to foosball, and then we switched for you and your date. But I remember versing him at some point, and I'm pretty competitive. So when I went, I'm like, yeah, and stuff. I like to think I don't rub it in too much, but I'm definitely like, beat that dude.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, when I did that, and that's just my personality. I was just being my authentic self. He just kind of looked at me almost like hurt, and I was like, okay, I'll back off. But then when he started winning, he, like, was so a sore winner about it. And I was just like, and you're done. I'm going to destroy you now.
They were kind of like the popular kid. Like, they were the kids to hang out with in the theater program.
My date, I still think he's, like, so over the top talented. And your
he's
date,
pretty nice.
He was very nice. He was very nice. He just said interesting things. And your date was definitely more in the in crowd.
Yeah. Later went to a dance with him. We can talk about that later. But yeah, it was an interesting date, and I mean, I really liked playing shuffleboard of us as a team. I'm pretty sure we won at least once.
That sounds about right, to be honest.
But yeah, I remember like dropping people off, and it was like, oh, we're done.
Yeah, it was definitely like that kind of got a little awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, my husband tells me that I'm picky with people, and it's true. He thinks I'm really good at reading people. You should ask him about it, because I think he thinks I have some superpower.
I want to know what, like, I don't know, like, is that why he likes me? Because he like took him a while to warm up to me, but maybe it was like, oh, she thinks that Abby's pretty cool. So
no, I think it's just the fact that if you could put introvert in a person, it would be him.
Okay.
Like, it's truly, he would rather play video games than go to his own birthday party. Like, he truly just wants to be alone, or he's fine with me being there, so he'll hang out with me all the time.
The first time I met him, I think it was you guys had just started dating like a month before or something, but I invited you to a game night that we were having as like a neighborhood, and first time I met him, he was a
good sport.
He wore a maroon shirt and maroon pants.
Oh my gosh. Zachary Glenn.
They were
never
almost
again
the same shade.
No.
quite.
It was like a red shirt. I probably still have the shirt, and I don't know if he still has those jeans. I think they got a hole in them, so he threw them away. They were nice. It's just it was a red shirt with maroon pants, and I trained him never again. Okay, but he still wears like old man Hawaiian shirts. He has some of those, and he wears them. He can have his Hawaiian shirts, just no maroon and maroon. No. But yeah, I didn't train him.
He didn't talk very much during.
Oh, he's just so shy.
That, yeah.
But he knows how important it is to me to be around people, and like I a lot of the time, especially when I'm sick, I don't feel as safe when I'm alone. Mm-hmm. So he knows that I need to be around these people, but I also need my husband.
Yeah.
So he's gotten really good at, even if he's like not in it for being introverted and all his stuff, he's so good at being like, okay, she needs this. I'll go and hang out with these people, and he's a very good sport about it, and he doesn't really complain. There will be times where he's like, I need my me time, please.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I remember coming back from that date where we did axe throwing, and He seemed really invested in having some girl talk.
I'm not sure why. It was really funny. We wanted to see, like, you know, what had happened, but your date really didn't text you back, which makes me really sad.
Yeah.
But it was a blind date setup, so
Yeah.
just to preface that.
But yeah, I remember I had invited you to do this job or something with me, and you were
Was that the ticket one?
yeah, and you were texting him, and
I really liked him, okay?
yeah, and you said something about he got you flowers, and we were like, my sister and I, Hannah, we were both like, what? Because your ex never got you flowers.
I can count. I think I really remember one time he got me flowers. I know he got me more than just once, but I think I used to
It was never
save
spontaneous, though.
Never. I actually used to save them, and I want to start saving them again. And I would dry them up and put them in jars, and they were just really cute. And they were pretty small jars, about that big. It only filled up 2 jars. And one of them had apology roses in them. And that was because I can't remember what he had done, but I was working, it was the time I was working at Marshall's. So I had just gotten laid off from I believe. No, this is before I think.
I'm going to bleep out their name, by the way.
Go for it. But I can't remember. I can't even remember. But I remember I was so mad at him, and I was really hurt. No, wait. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was really mad at him, and I was basically like, you know, F off. And he had brought me these orange roses. And I was just like, and I think he had left them in my car or something, but I remember talking to him. I don't remember much of it, but I remember specifically.
They're burying a body, if you can hear that.
I remember specifically knowing these were apology roses.
Yeah.
And I never really got anything.
He only asked you on one date, and it was a dance.
And I wasn't his first choice.
Really? I mean, you weren't dating at the time.
I wasn't his first choice. He
What
was
a-
going to ask.
Oh, and she ended up in our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he told me he was going to ask someone else.
Why?
Because he wanted to throw me off the track. He asked me about 2 weeks before prom and threw me off the track by telling me that someone else was there. Try getting a dress in 2 weeks. Amazon.
Well, I got mine in less than a week.
Seriously. I remember just being like I was always put last. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. But I remember this one time when I was working at my first job. We were working there, and I can't remember. I think he was apologizing. I remember pulling him out because there was a patio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was working that day, but he wanted to talk to me. So on his break, he came and talked to me, and he was apologizing, you know, started to get all weepy and stuff. And I remember just feeling just nothing while I looked at him. And this was, I think, before we were dating. And I remember just like looking at him and just like I felt nothing. I just felt this pure like, I can't believe you. And I think it was because when my cousin had passed away, he had just ignored me.
Yeah.
You know? And so if I'm right, which I'm having a hard time remembering, if I'm right, he was apologizing for something about that.
Mm.
And I remember looking at him like, basically, you know, man up and figure it out,
Yeah.
you know? And I remember as I was leaving, he was like, can I have a hug? And it was the first time I was just like, no. Yeah. No, you can't. And he like all walked in all weepy, and I'm just like,
Yeah. But anyway, so when I heard that Zach got you flowers, I was like, this is a good guy.
well, he still gets me flowers. Like, the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, he's been giving me more of the flowers that are planted because I'm trying to become a plant person. And they're in my room now, and I'm trying to take care of them. They're just really pretty, and I have some at the front that I think are dying because I don't know what I'm doing. But it's just like, yeah. And it's not just flowers. It's like, if he goes and gets himself a chocolate bar, he always gets me one. You know? It's just like, oh. And the other day, he got a garment bag, basically, for the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use it for other things, but he got me one, too. Because, you know, I needed one for the temple as well. But he didn't need to go get me one because they're nice bags.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's not just she's like gonna be mad if I don't get her something. It's like, well, I'm getting one. Might as well, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm not a second afterthought now. It's the weirdest transition.
Yeah.
But it's
really good. And it's
a
really good to see you find somebody for you. That's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of plants, though, I wanted to introduce this real quick before we end here. This is a snake plant if you are a plant person. I am a plant person, so that's why I have this, because it was 2020. We lived pretty close to a store, and we were just hanging out there, and the plant section is up front. It was National Best Friends Day, and you got me, it wasn't in this pot, but you got me this snake plant, and it grew pretty big, but I'm in college, and college gets stressful, and so it died. But this little offshoot, I was able to save. So yeah, this is a symbol, I guess, of our friendship.
I actually, last night, we went to the store, and I bought myself a mini snake plant in honor of this one, so it's in the living room right now.
Cute. Snake plants are really easy to take care of,
That's
too.
another reason why I got it.
Yeah. But yeah, we have come a long way since high school.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about it.
And it's really fun to, reminisce, I guess. I feel like reminisce has, a positive outlook on it, but I don't feel very positive about high school.
It's almost like finally being able to talk about it and not worry that it's going to take things from us.
Yeah.
Because, if we were to talk about it in high school, roles would be taken from us. They might jot down your grade a little bit. It's just now we can just process through it, and it's just this actually just happened, and it's over now.
Yeah, and we hope that you guys find it interesting too, and find things from our life that can help you a little bit. And if you have any advice for us, we will take any advice.
Love the advice.
Yeah, because our lives are not perfect, if you can't tell by how much we are revealing about them.
I mean, if you think that's perfect,
Thank you. Okay, we will end this episode. We're so excited for next time. I'm excited to have my sister on. I'm excited to have my dog here for you to see how gigantic he is.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. So make sure you also watch that episode on YouTube if you want to see them. But we will get dog sniffs and see if Lady will sniff the microphone. I don't think you heard that, but she sniffed it.
We got a little bit. We'll see how it comes out. Okay, see you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Bye.